Nobody would have thought that I would be the one. Rhyner, sports talk. Baseball, 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 baseball.
Oh, with the big mic. Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Okay, now I get it.
We got a lightning strike, boys. What happened over there, Grego? We had a little lightning strike right outside the window.
Texas Rangers win the World Series.
All right. Here's a tip for all these Americano League teams.
Wait, you said tip?
Yeah, tip.
Okay.
With a P.
Keep jamming.
The ticket, colon, nothing but a big Gen X jerk-off session.
This is a cool night or what?
Although somebody would hear that and go, bullshit.
I'm back, bitches.
Hey there. It is your dark companion. We are live at 5 today. Oh, 3?
Yeah.
Oh, it's 3?
So it's 5:03.
All right. A little after 5.
Screw it.
We're live a little after 5. How about that?
No one knows.
Nobody does. Nobody cares. I don't even care. I don't know why I even said that. Can we start over?
Nope.
No, I don't want to. But yes, it is your dark companion. We are glad you are here with us today. It is the 7th of January, which means we have already made it through 1 week of the new year. And this would be episode number which? 185. Wow.
That's so many numbers.
So many numbers. This has required so much attention span from me that I didn't believe I had.
We didn't either.
Well, we're glad you're with us. And we are ready to roll today. I think we've got a pretty interesting guest. You may have seen his work. You may have seen his name and thought, man, I wonder who that guy is. I've seen his work, but I don't know anything about him. Well, we are here to fix that today because, like you, I saw his work, and I saw his work enough and read his work, and I started thinking, this guy's really good. This is a real talent they found here. And that did not absolve the fact that I didn't know anything about him, and that's what we're doing here today. We're going to learn about this guy. He is Shawn McFarland.
Yay.
Of the Dallas Morning News. Good day, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. You are way too kind.
No, I'm really not. I'm really not. I mean, I think you're really good.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do.
And, you know, to be amongst those giants of the craft who have roamed the Dallas Morning News sports pages, sports section, both now and in the past, that's saying something, man.
Yeah. Well, I know it's like I said earlier before we recorded, like it's you're elevated by the people around you, and it's an amazing staff we have right now and that was a big pitch coming here 4 years ago was I get to work with amazing reporters, amazing writers, amazing editors, and that's, as a reporter, that's what you want to be around, right? And you hope that lifts you up as well.
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, that leaves us with a nice little off-ramp to get into what I wanted to start with, which is a little bit of biographical data on you, because you just appeared all of a sudden, and in the newspaper game, when guys appear all of a sudden, they just appear all of a sudden, and we don't know anything about them. We're there to peruse their work, and that is it until they acquire enough tenure and enough notoriety to where you eventually learn about them. So we will absolve all of you out there in podcast land of that today by getting Shawn to tell us. Where'd you grow up?
Kingston, Massachusetts, about a half hour south of Boston, half hour north of Cape Cod. So right in that sweet spot of South Shore, Massachusetts.
Oh, a New Englander.
Oh,
huh?
yeah.
Wow.
Born and raised.
What got you into sports?
Well, I mean, look, you grow up in the Boston area in the early to mid 2000s. It's kind of hard not to. I always...
A lot was going on up there then.
Yeah, by the time I graduated high school, I'd seen a couple Super Bowls, a couple World Series, a Stanley Cup, a NBA Finals. It's hard not to. It's in the blood up there. It's in the everything. You can't escape it. It's very similar to, I think, the state of Texas as well, where sports and community are so intertwined, where it's just the very same, where you kind of have no choice but to get into it, right?
You a Belichick or Brady guy?
Oh, Brady.
Who was more important?
I don't think they could have done it without each other. I'm a firm believer in that, but look, we see what happens when you don't have the quarterback, and it's not pretty. So I'll stick with Brady 100 times out of 100.
Do you think we will ever see the day where they get together and put it all behind them and can actually carry on once again?
I think so. I think we saw a little bit at the roast he did a year or two ago when Belichick was there. The statue, Bill wasn't there, but I think it's possible, and I think it's all about the guy in the middle too, Robert Kraft. I think so much of that runs through the dynamic with Kraft and Brady and Kraft and Belichick, where I think that has as much to do with it as the two guys themselves.
Is sports what you set out to do and what you want to do, or do you see yourself branching off into something else someday?
Yeah, so sports is what got me into this, right? And it's funny, I went to college and I wasn't planning to do journalism. I wanted to do sports management, and I kind of thought working in a front office somewhere would be a really cool gig. And, because that sounds easy when you're 17. Oh, let's go be the GM of the Red Sox. That's really easy.
Sure.
To, they're always hiring.
Yeah, just knock on the door.
Yeah, I'll bring my resume. I'll wear a nice shirt and tie. Like, they'll let me in. But when I got there, I kind of realized that's maybe not a realistic path. And I'd already been doing some writing for my local paper and some websites and got into it. And, for me, I think sports is the ultimate vehicle in journalism at least, the ultimate vehicle to kind of tell whatever story you want to tell, whether it's purely on the field or, off the field issues or socioeconomic issues. Like, it can all be told through sports, and I think that's what keeps it fresh. So, when you talk about sticking in sports or going elsewhere, I think sports provides whatever route you want to go through in this job.
You certainly seem to have a wider range and a whole lot more latitude.
Yeah.
To do various different kinds of stories and tell a wider range of stories, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, in a place like Texas too, where the high school sports matter, the college sports matter, the pro sports matter, and it's just a large landscape to find those stories. I think, which makes it exciting and fresh. There's not a day where you feel like you're doing the same thing over and over. And I think that's the vehicle you look for as a journalist, to be in an area like that.
Where were you prior to the Dallas Morning News?
So the Hartford Courant, the oldest continuously run newspaper in America.
There's no way to know that.
There's anything before like 1900, I think.
History isn't real.
I'm just making it up. But I covered UConn football, UConn basketball, high school sports, some minor league baseball. I was there for about 3 years after graduation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
was the Dallas Morning News a big goal for you? Because there are a lot of guys down there who have told me that was where they wanted to be from day one. Was the Dallas Morning News. Were you even aware of it up there?
Absolutely, I was aware of the writers. I mean, that was the biggest thing, right? Like, I knew obviously Tim Cowlishaw and Evan Grant and all these reporters who, like, I'd seen even in high school in New England. Like, that makes it attractive. And once you get into the industry, you're aware of who's doing what good work, who's maintaining good work. And for me, that wasn't as important as anything, is being somewhere that's going to help me facilitate doing good work. And, when I left Connecticut, I knew I wanted to leave New England. I'd never really left New England before. And the DMN was hiring a high school sports reporter. And I thought, man, what a better place to cover high school sports than in Dallas, Texas, in a place that cares so much about this. So that opportunity mixed with, being at a place like the DMN, it was hard to say no to.
How did the opportunity come about?
Let's see. I think get the timeline right. They were technically replacing Joe Hoyt, who
we just had him on Monday.
And Joe is fantastic. He's one of my great friends.
We're replacing him again.
Yeah, exactly. I'm used to this now, and I eventually placed him on the Rangers beat
Boy,
too. So.
What symmetry.
I'm telling you.
It's just I get whatever he's done with. It works out well. I'll get his house next, hopefully. I'll just take that. But I think they were officially
I promise you, we'll have you on again before we have him on.
So I was officially replacing Joe. He was on the Rangers beat, and I knew him a little bit and reached out to him and said, "Hey, is this what can we make happen here?" And for me, it was just a no-brainer.
Do guys like you use agents or anything like that?
I don't think I make enough money to have an agent. I think that's what I come back to. I'm sure if you're a writer at ESPN or at some higher up at a national outlet, I'm sure they do. I know for local TV, a lot of them have agents. I have friends who have agents. We don't have agents though. It's kind of the Wild West out there, and you kind of so much of it is relationships and connections and just knowing people, and I guess kind of the old-fashioned way, which is refreshing, I think. But I've never had an agent or even considered needing one.
So when you first got down here, you were just kind of doing everything, or did you just jump right into something right away?
It was high schools for, I think, the first year. I think I got down here in October 21 and kind of got thrown into the middle of the regular season. I'd never been to Texas before until the day I moved here and moved into my apartment in Oaklawn, and kind of learning my way.
What did you think about that?
It was wild, man. It was funny. I didn't know what to expect, but I found Dallas to be a really easy city to get comfortable in. It's not too Texas that I was overwhelmed, I mean,
we're not all wearing cowboy hats and shooting steer.
Yeah, there's a lot of myth attached to it.
Yeah, I still have friends who are like, "Oh, do you, what's it like living? You have a ranch?" It's like, no, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. It's nothing crazy.
Yeah, that's a ranch down here.
Yeah,
right. We have indoor plumbing.
Yeah, exactly. So that made it easy, I think, getting used to the area and covering high school sports. I was driving to Frisco and Argyle and Denton and Duncanville, so you kind of learn the area that way, which is great.
But that's still a hell of a thing to jump into, is Texas high school football.
Yeah.
Like trying to just even learn all the teams, all the schools, all the players and all that. It's just drinking from the fire hose.
Was that a little bit of a mind blow for you to see what high school football's like down here?
I mean, it's to this day, it's still the thing that has shocked me the most about moving halfway across the country is the stadiums, the facilities. I grew up in New England and Connecticut, like the best teams, like the premier programs, have a field that like Terrell might use as a practice field, and like that's their state. You know what I mean? I have friends who are D1 coaches in New England. I'll send them photos of like the practice facilities and the indoor facilities here, and they're like, "Oh, are you out at UT or TCU?" I'm like, "No, I'm at like a 3A school in the middle of nowhere."
It's insane.
It's so hard for me even still to wrap my head around the resources that get put in down here, and you see why when you see the interest and the turnout and all that.
Now, I first noticed you. Clearly, you did other things before, but I first noticed you when you started doing baseball, and but have since noticed you on some other things as well. So, I mean, this may be an unfair question to ask, but what are you exactly?
No, it's a great question. I wake up every day and wonder it sometimes. I would say my job is Rangers beat writer and then general assignment. You kind of split the two. Obviously, during baseball season, it's almost exclusively baseball, and the off season, you're kind of splitting both things up. So this year it was a lot of college football. I probably covered a dozen games, a few playoff games all around the state, and then it's so situation dependent, right? Luka gets traded. Well, I'm out there covering that. I'm in LA for his first game. I'm covering his homecoming here. Micah Parsons gets traded. I'm out when he comes back, in his first game with Green Bay. And that's kind of super utility, I guess is probably the best way to put it. The Josh Smith of the morning news sports section, I guess, is probably the nicest way to describe it.
You're taller, though.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So how does, and I'm asking a lot of questions about the paper here because I don't, even though I've known many people who've worked there for many years, and I've known some of them fairly well, there's a lot about it that I still don't know and don't understand. How does one move up the food chain in a place like that?
It's a great question. I think it takes two things, right? It takes you and your own abilities to get a job there and show your worth moving up. And it also takes a company that's going to prioritize internal growth. You see a lot of people in any field, not just newspapers, who may be worthy of moving up the food chain, but they don't. Maybe the company wants to hire externally more often, or maybe there's just not openings. So I think a lot of that is credit to the paper kind of recognizing, hey, we think this person deserves a bump in some sense, even if it's not, hey, you're going to be a Dallas Cowboys beat writer. Like, let's put you on bigger assignments. Let's have you cover this. Let's have you go out and cover the Rangers for a few weeks and see what happens. So much of it is situation dependent and just people wanting to help others rise, I guess.
Yeah. Now, if we may subtly segue from you onto some other stuff, I'm having a hard time believing that the Rangers, as presently constructed, are going to be better this year. Am I wrong?
I don't think so. I think it's very similar to where we were this time last year, where you're banking on a lot of internal improvement. For them to be significantly better than they were last year, you need a lot of guys to improve in ways that they didn't last year, or you need guys to beat back regression, which got them pretty bad last year.
Boy, did it ever.
I mean, it was stark, you know? So I think it's fair to look. I think you can look at this roster and say there's a lot of upside here. And if a lot of things break right, it's a much better team. But you need a lot of things to go right. And they banked on that last year, and we saw what happened. So I think it's hoping that upside with a new manager and some new faces can kind of shift some things in the right direction.
What'd you think about the managerial hire?
I think Skip's great. I think he's great for this team. They are trending younger. That's pretty clear. I mean, Chris Young was really against calling it a rebuild, but they are going to be a little bit younger. It's going to be some younger faces, some less experienced guys. And I think getting a manager who knows how to work with less, which he did in Miami, getting a manager who connects with players really well, which I think this team needs, is someone who can break through to some of these guys, and Skip kind of seems poised to do that. And getting a guy with maybe some, a little fire underneath them that can kind of fire some guys up. I think at times last year the team looked just a little too lackadaisical. I don't know who you want to pin that on, but I think maybe having a manager like Skip can kind of help shift some of that.
It seemed to me, as I watched them last year, and yes, a lot of the time, the whole thing was a little bit laissez-faire, or whatever, And I could tell that did not sit well with Bruce.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seemed to me like he was never willing to accept it, yet it never changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess to really get a grasp on this, you have to be around it every day, and you have to have a really, really good understanding of the dynamics of the room and of the organization and everything. But it was just a really, really bizarre year for the Rangers.
It was, yeah. And you're right about Bochy. And, in the 3 years I covered him, he was as steady of a manager as a coach as I've been around. And even in hard times, 2024 wasn't a great year either. You didn't see it get to him. And I think that's what a Hall of Fame manager does, right? Is they're so good at protecting their players and staying even keeled. But I think at the end of last year, you saw it get to him. There were times where he was calling out the offense in ways he never did before. He was getting more frustrated. He was running out of ways to describe what he was watching, as were anyone else who was watching it. But you could see it wear on him in ways that it didn't even the year before, which wasn't all that different of a season.
Did you get the sense then that this might be his last year?
I wasn't sure. He kept it so close to the vest all year. Whenever anyone asked, he wasn't tipping his hand. I know he wanted to stay in baseball, as he has. I know he wanted to keep managing. But I think it comes down to, when they eventually announced that Bochy was leaving the organization, Chris Young talked about the direction we're heading, and did they want to have Was he the best manager for that, or did he want to be there for whatever direction they're heading in?
Yeah.
But it's funny, even for all the things we said, like he's 70 years old. He's been doing this forever, and he still had the same excitement about the job, even though it was frustrating at the end. You didn't see a guy who was over it. You didn't see a guy who was like, oh, another day at work, I'm just going to get through this. Like, you still saw a guy who was so passionate about this. So I'm not surprised to see him wind up back in San Francisco in the front office role. I don't know if he'll wind up managing again and what that path back to the dugout looks like. But I never got the vibe that he was ready to leave baseball. I think he still has that passion and desire to be around the game.
All right, I'm going to do something I rarely do here.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to put on my glasses.
Wow.
Nice.
Because I've been making notes here today, and I can't read my own writing. So, sorry about that. Let's see. Where did I leave off at?
So we're talking about Bochy.
Yeah.
Talking about the Rangers.
Oh, okay. I know what I want to get into next. This, too, concerns the Rangers.
Okay.
What about the chemistry
of
the thing last year? Because I didn't know how, I didn't know why. I was never around the thing, so I wouldn't know these things. But as I was watching it more and more, I could tell that this thing was kind of a chemistry nightmare.
Yeah.
That there was just a lot of, I don't know, maybe not bad vibes, but just weird vibes. Not the kind of vibes that you have when you've got a good team that's pulling together and everything.
Yeah.
What was your sense of that, and what did you read into that?
I think weird's a good way to put it. It was not, from my read of it and the dynamic of being there every day, it was not toxic. It wasn't, it wasn't messy in there. But you had Marcus Semien, who is the ultimate, role model in terms of how you carry yourself as a baseball player. He's not a rah-rah leader. That's just not who he is. And you can't fake that, right? You can't fake being a rah-rah leader. And he wasn't that, but he was the ultimate, do as I do guy. You have Corey Seager, who also not a rah-rah guy. Again, you can't fake that. But he's guys like him because he's great at working individually with guys and being that kind of leader. And hey, if you have questions about your swing or something with your game, let's sit down, let's talk about it. He's that kind of guy. But again, he's not going to fire up a team. They brought in guys, and they had guys that I think had potential to be that. Jake Berger is a guy who is a great clubhouse guy. He was injured all year. He underperformed. It's hard to be that when you are not at your best.
Right.
Jock Peterson, another guy who he comes in with this reputation of being the ultimate clubhouse guy. And he still was. He played cards every day. He was very close with everyone. He had a bad year. It's tough to be the clubhouse guy you want to be if you're not at your best. Josh Young, I think, was poised to step into more of a leadership role. Halfway through the year, he's in AAA because he's underperforming and he's injured. I think there were pieces there that could have lifted the chemistry and brought it together, but circumstances really made it difficult to see that come together in one.
The Josh Young thing is one of the weirdest things that happened last year for me. In fact, it may be the weirdest because he was a guy at the start of the season. We looked at him as, okay, this guy's going to be a part of this thing for years to come now.
Yeah.
And then halfway through the season, he's down in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
That was just, that must have come as a shock to everybody around the team.
Yeah. I think it was a little less shocking. I think that was kind of one of their first big, we're going to really shake things up move after obviously firing a hitting coach, was when Josh went down and when Jake Berger also went down, and Berger's obviously came back after 10 days. He got his swing right, all that. But
Josh never did.
Yeah. With Josh, I think it was clearly, this is not a refresh. This is go down there, work with coaches, really figure out your approach, your swing, and how we can get this back on track and make it look more like it did in the first half of 2023. And it just never got back on track after that. And some of the tendencies that they sent him down to work on, he had some nice runs once he came back up, but it was never clearly a consistent stretch where you could look and say, okay, he's fixed or whatever you want to call it.
There was never anything sustainable
Yeah.
that happened, you know? And, I mean, considering what they were counting on from him, that's one of the weirdest things that we've seen in Ranger baseball in some years now.
Yeah, it felt like they were definitely trying to push him in the Simeon and Seager face of the franchise, media guide thing, and didn't even come close to happening.
Yeah.
Now, for us longtime Ranger fans, the thing that made it especially difficult to watch was because our rallying cry for years and years now, if I've heard it from people once, I heard it a million times during my time in the game, was, when are they going to spend some money and get some pitching in here? Well, they had pitching out the wazoo last year. And that was another thing that just killed me about that season. They had that. They had the thing that we had wanted and just kind of come to accept that it was never going to be great. But if it was pretty good, then they might have a chance to do something. Well, last year it was great. And then you had that.
Yeah. I mean, and you talk about weird things happening last season. Going into the season, the rotation wasn't a full question mark, but it was, they'll hit. Like, look at this lineup, they'll hit. But they just got to stay healthy and pitch. If they can be a league average pitching staff, my God, they're set.
Yeah, that was that's the best we could ever hope for, you know?
And then it turned into one of the best rotations. I mean, arguably the best in team history, but one of the best in modern baseball history. When you look at the numbers they put up.
It was definitely the best in team history, for sure.
Yeah, and you felt bad at a point asking starting pitchers, hey, what's it like knowing that if you give up 2 runs, it's probably over? Because they got into that point where, man, DeGrom could go out there and fire 7 scoreless and give up 2 runs, and, just wasn't enough. They only got 3 hits, and the pitchers, they're great. They're pros, and they took it to heart like, no, I should have been better. I should have only given up 1 run. And it's like, you felt bad that they were being put in that situation day in, day out to kind of defend the circumstances. But yeah, I mean, it's the great travesty of 2025, right? Is that you had this brilliant pitching staff that I think was poised to be really good in the postseason with Nathan Eovaldi. I mean, obviously he got hurt, but if he had stayed healthy, and DeGrom and Jack Leiter coming on, if they were just a league average offense, it's an entirely different story.
And at least on that side of the ball, the pitching chemistry, especially in the rotation, I know DeGrom and Eovaldi especially, were really mentoring Leiter and all the other young guys, and just seeing that chemistry, it did feel a little bit stark, seeing the difference where it did seem like it was kind of just everybody on their own on the offensive side.
Yeah, and Nathan Eovaldi he's the ultimate leader. He's the ultimate.
Man, I love that guy.
I mean, he is. When you look at, and obviously, again, I have not been around this team for as long as others, but when you look at the best free agent signings in team history, he has to be up there. The performance, obviously, but what he's done in that clubhouse with that pitching staff, it's really unbelievable. They go as he goes. He is a pseudo coach. He helps every guy in that clubhouse with their pitches, with their numbers, their information. He's an extension of the coaching staff, and other pitchers gravitate towards him. And I think that energy and persona is lacking on the hitting side, to your point.
Yeah. I don't know if I could put my top 5 Rangers of all time together without him, without Eovaldi.
I was going to say, I know our buddy Jamie Newberg has pretty much been saying that Eovaldi's pretty much his top Rangers pitcher ever, even over Nolan.
Yeah.
I can't really disagree.
Yeah, I don't know if I would agree, but I certainly can't disagree.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, let's move on. We'll get to maybe some more Rangers here in a bit.
Okay.
But, Sean, I've got to ask you this.
Let's go. Sounds important. I'm locked in.
Are you surprised? And I want you to take this seriously.
Okay.
Are you surprised that the Super Bowl will be coming up soon? And Sean, the Dallas football Cowboys will not be in it.
You're telling me the team that traded their best player before the preseason is not going to be in the Super Bowl?
Look, I know you're hurt by this.
I thought this was their year, man.
That's how Jerry gets us every year.
Yeah,
I was told
like, you know what?
Yeah, we're conditioned.
We got the gambler running things.
Yeah, we're conditioned to think that every year is their year. You know, I mean, we talk fools that we are. We talk ourselves into it.
Yeah,
and then this happens.
Yeah.
Well, are you surprised?
No, God. I mean, it just felt. Look, you trade Micah Parsons, and I don't have as much of an issue with the trade maybe as others. Like, look, you got 2 first-round picks back. That's a good return. But the reality is, if you do that, you're setting yourselves back. You're building for the future. And it seems like a team that doesn't know if it wants to build for the future or contend right now. And some of the moves just kind of counter against each other, it feels like, right?
The crazy thing about that trade is it came down, and we don't know exactly what happened, or it's never been made really clear, but we've seen this kind of history play itself out before around here. And that trade came down as a result of a contract pissing match.
Yeah.
Between owner and player.
Yeah.
And that's that ain't right, man.
No. Especially, and look, here's the reality in the NFL, and all sports too. You're going to have to pay the good guys eventually. The good players are going to get paid.
Yes. If you don't, somebody else will.
You know, and that's the reality. And that's why I've never understood. And again, I'm not around the Cowboys as much as other teams, but obviously I read and I talk with folks. Like, I don't understand how we keep running in a situation where it's like we're waiting until the last minute to give these guys contracts when 5 other edge rushers have gotten deals, and now there's a $50 million premium on it. It makes no sense to do business like that. I don't get it.
And you know, the market goes one way.
Yeah, it's never going down.
And it ain't coming down.
Yeah.
Anytime soon. I don't know. It just seems like this thing is in a place where it just consistently shoots itself in the foot just on account of the way it's run.
Yeah.
You know, I'm told that you still have situations where if you don't like the way a coach is treating you, go talk to Mr. Jones.
Yeah.
He'll fix it.
Yeah.
That they still have that kind of thing going on out there. It undermines coaches. It undermines what the whole idea of building a team that's going to win is about.
Yeah. And even today, they had their wrap-up press conference, and someone asked, you know, is Schottenheimer going to get to hire the next defensive coordinator? And he said, he made a Trump Venezuela reference. He's like, I'm the president now. I'm the president. I make the decisions. And it's like, and then he backtracked and said, oh, it'll be a group effort. But, you know, if you're handicapping your head coach, you know, before he even has a chance to look through candidates, you know, what faith should that give you that it'll be any different in the future?
Yeah. Just you got an owner that's talking during press conferences after the game at the same time as his head coach. It's just, how do you deal with that? And I know Shotty knows it, just like McCarthy did, just like all the other coaches before him, but the reality of it's got to be so draining.
Yeah, well, Jerry today said he wants to retire when he has the most Super Bowls of any owner in NFL history, so he's only 3 behind Robert Kraft, so...
Right. Just, so he's 4 shy of his actual goal.
Yeah, so we can wrap that up in 4 years, probably. I think,
hopefully,
right?
Jerry lives to 150.
Hopefully, he will. All right, this is Shawn McFarland of the Dallas Morning News with us here. We'll have more with him coming up, but right now, it is time for us to stop down for the dreaded and feared mid-show read. I got to do it by myself?
You got this, Shoopy.
It's just House of Healing.
Okay. Let me tell you about the CBD House of Healing. Now, I'm speaking to those who are looking for something other than your basic head shop, because this is not a scene where you're going to go in there, buy a couple of roach clips and some zigzags and be on your way. No, those days are gone. This is about helping you out if you are in pain in this world. If you're walking around out there in pain And I know something about this because I've been dealing with it myself for a little while now. If you're walking around in pain, you're having trouble sleeping at night, you need a little something for that. CBD works. And the House of Healing can find something in there for you that will probably, at the very least, help you feel better. And if you're walking around in pain, that's something that you'll be very interested in, just feeling better. The owner is a registered nurse, so she's going to approach this from a very holistic, very medical point of view. And she will listen to what you have to say. She will listen to what's going on, and she will fix you up with something that is probably going to make you feel better. Again, I know this because they did it for me. If they'll do it for me, they can do it for you. So go see them at the CBD House of Healing. They're good people over there, and they are interested in one thing and one thing only, and that is helping you feel better and helping you sleep better. They are located at Northwest Highway and Plano Road in the northeast quadrant of that burgeoning intersection. Go over there, check it out for yourself. They are the CBD House of Healing. Let them help you feel better.
Yay, shoopy.
Is that all we've got?
You nailed it. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Cool story.
Survived.
Yeah, we did. We made it through. All right, this is Shawn McFarland of the Dallas Morning News with us today. I've become a big fan of his work and very pleased to have him in here. I didn't know the guy up until today, but like I say, good to meet you. Good to have you.
We did this. I appreciate it.
Shawn, where were you the night of the trade?
Which one?
Yeah.
At this point.
It's a great story.
Well, we can go through
We got
however
three
many
to
there's
pick
been.
from, at
Yeah.
least.
So we'll start with Luka.
That's what I had in mind.
Yeah, I figured. I was out with friends somewhere in Dallas and got back to my apartment around 10:30 and hanging out on the phone, whatever. And then I see a Shams Charania tweet that Luka Doncic has been traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. And I thought, well, that's not real. Until our Brad Townsend came in a few minutes later with, no, he's been traded. And I thought, there's no way both of them got hacked. So I go into our Mavericks Slack channel and I look at what's going on, and it's midnight, so I don't know who's up. I don't know what's going on. So I just kind of say, hey, I'm up, I'm around. If if anything I can do to help, just let me know. And then my editor calls me about 12:30 and says, can you just go to bars in Dallas and just talk to fans about what this is like? And I say, I would love to go to some bars on company time.
Genius.
So I head out to a few bars. I had to Christie's in Lower Greenville, and a few others around that area, and kind of just walked around and found some folks to talk to and did that for a few hours. And then about 4 a.m. found myself at the American Airlines Center, where fans have started to decorate the Dirk statue and started a mini protest, and talk with them until about 5 a.m. And finally went back home and was back out there the next day for the much larger protest. So I toured the city that night, talking to inebriated Mavericks fans about how upset they were.
Things went on till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning that night.
Yeah, I was
Damn.
probably out at the Dirk statue around 4 a.m. and there was a dozen people out there, draping jerseys, lighting candles, writing signs out. I mean, it was an all-night affair for some of these heartbroken fans.
Do you know anybody that had any kind of heads up that something like that might be coming down, or that something might be coming down?
I think maybe it was a half hour heads up, for some. I don't think this, even I think for national people who were very plugged in, I don't think this was like a thing that they knew was brewing. So I think I know it caught me by surprise. I think it caught our folks by surprise. It caught everyone by surprise. I don't think, obviously we come to learn that maybe Nico and Rob Pelinka had been talking for a month or so in advance, but I don't think that made its way out of that circle, at least.
Boy, I don't know. I don't know if I'm the most plugged in cat in the world, but stuff has a way of getting around to me, and man, that did not.
Yeah.
And if you tell me Brad Townsend didn't know, that says a lot.
Yeah, I think I've seen Sean McFarland talk about it. I don't think he had more than an hour or two. Like, I don't think any reporter had much of a heads up that this was happening. Unlike the Micah trade, which we knew for weeks and months was heading in that direction. So I know, again, it took until Brad's tweet for me to be like, okay, this is real and it's happening, and what now?
Wow. Like, I still think about Shams, saying, yes, this is real.
Yeah.
Like, he had to follow up his own tweet, like,
yeah.
No, I promise I wasn't hacked.
Yeah.
Because it was just that insane.
Yeah.
And now we might be trading AD. Less than a year later.
Probably will.
WTF.
I'm not so sure that that's such a bad thing.
I'm not saying it is.
Certainly not the catastrophic move that this was.
No, but...
And it certainly won't bring about the same reaction from people that this did.
Or the same return.
I don't know, man. Of all the things that I've seen come down sports-wise in this town, I mean, I've seen the sale of the Cowboys. I've seen all kinds of crazy Ranger shit that anybody can possibly imagine. I haven't seen too much with the Stars because hockey seems to be a little bit more insular. They keep things a little bit more inside the circle, if you will. So haven't seen too much there, but man, I think this is the most catastrophic sports thing that we've ever seen happen here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's just what I think.
Like, the name Nico Harrison is known by so many more people than you could ever have imagined before that trade was made. The number of people that are just at their regular 9-to-5 office jobs are like, oh, that's the Nico Harrison of our office, or
yeah,
it's just insane what a punchline the dude has become.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember that night talking to fans, and, I'm trying to just have a conversation and try and, rationalize with them. And I was grasping for a comparison. Like, oh, this is just like when this happened. And I couldn't think of a comparison that was remotely
There's
relevant,
not one, man.
Like,
there is not one that we've seen around here.
Yeah.
I don't know. You maybe talk about the trade of Babe Ruth or something like that, But there's never been anything like this around here. I mean, from fan reaction, no matter how you slice it, dice it, no matter what aspect you look at it, we've not seen anything like
player
this.
reaction.
Yeah, player
all the
reaction.
tweets saying WTF.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't believe it. And so many superstar players saying, well, if he can be traded, I guess I can too.
Yeah.
It's just
Weird.
insane.
It was.
You said you were also involved in the Micah Parsons aftermath. What did you wind up doing for that?
I went out there when he came back to Green Bay and did kind of a scene piece on what that looked like. And it was funny just walking around the stadium. Like, there were more Parsons Green Bay jerseys than there were Cowboys jerseys. I was really blown away. And obviously the Packers are a national brand and they travel well, but it must have been 50-50, if not more, in favor of Packers jerseys. Just seeing,
that's weird.
Yeah, yeah, it was weird. I was looking around like, is this normal? Like, there was just so many Green Bay #1 jerseys in the stadium that day, and that's the one thing I took away from it. And I don't know what to make of that, but that's the one thing I took away from it.
Man, I don't know what to make of that either.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know what to make of the way this entire franchise is headed, because this last year, which just ended, cannot be viewed in any other way other than a seriously abject disappointment. There were a lot of things that went right, but even more that went wrong. And where's this thing headed?
Yeah. That's the question, right? And they have all this draft capital now from the Micah trade, and you trade for Quinnen Williams. That seems like it's a good addition, but now
for a while that worked.
Yeah, so you re-sign him, you re-sign George Pickens, if that's where you go, and then you get so much of your money tied up in 4 or 5 guys, and it feels like you're in the same exact spot you've been in for the last 5 years. And if you can't, you gotta. It's about what, developing guys on cheap deals and finding hits for low contracts in the market to fill out your roster. Like that's tough to do. And is this franchise proven it can do that?
It's virtually impossible.
Yeah.
And no, this franchise has not proven it can do that.
Yeah.
This franchise has not proven it has any interest in that sort of thing.
You don't trust in the gambler?
No, I don't trust the gambler. Boy, it was just nauseating.
That puffed him up so much.
It was just nauseating the way he really leaned into that whole thing this year. How he would always bring it up in press conferences and stuff, even when it was completely inappropriate or just something so far-fetched from what he was talking about. It was just awful.
I'm pretty sure he threw something out like that today, too, at his press conference. I didn't get to watch it, but I believe I saw him saying something along those lines of, you don't know what's going to happen. Look out in a few months.
You don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
You want stability. You want to hear,
Yeah, you want direction.
Yeah.
You want something moving in a sensible way that makes you think the team might be better next year. But instead, you get the riverboat gambler.
Yeah, the wildcatter.
Whoa. You never know what he might do next.
Oh,
But whatever it is, it's going to be awful. Does it disappoint you that you're finding yourself in a major, major sports market that can stand up with virtually any of them? We have 4 professional teams, yet only what?
We got 5.
All right, 5 professional teams, yet only one is good right now. Does that disappoint you?
I think it's disappointing. It's surprising, and I think it's more, to your point, how stark of disappointing these teams have been. You look at the Cowboys and dysfunction there. You look at the Mavericks and dysfunction there. The Stars seem to be the most consistent winner in town, and the Rangers outside of 2023 have been, that's been a rough few years too. I think when you look at the talent on the field or on the court that these teams have had these last 5 years, I think that's what makes it most shocking. Is you had Luka Doncic and you had Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens and Corey Seager and Marcus Semien and Jacob deGrom. Like, I don't know many markets in America that had more star power than the 4 teams we had here, and there's one title to show for it, and that's not even the best team anymore. That's what stands out to me is the talent that was here. It wasn't like it was desolate, or even is still desolate. There's talent.
No,
I did feel like there was so much hope a year or two ago. Like, Rangers winning the World Series, Mavs in the finals, Stars in the finals. Just it's so crazy how much it's imploded.
Yeah.
Except for the Stars. God love you, Stars.
All right, let me ask you this. Now, this is a little bit convoluted.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I hope I remember where I'm going here with this.
I hope you don't.
But fans generally don't grasp or really want to hear about the nevertheless hard fact that in all 4 of these sports, all of these leagues have built-in guardrails on the financial scene. Of the 4, which do you think does the best job of negotiating those guardrails and appeasing the fan base?
That's a hell of a question.
That is a good question.
Damn.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
like that. No, I think you
fantastic.
nailed that. I think when you look at, I think Major League Baseball, and the issue with baseball is teams at the bottom that aren't paying at all. But I think the luxury tax structure is fair and solid. I think the lack of a salary cap, I think, is fine. I think it works for the sport. But now you have the issue of, why are we in mid-January and so many top free agents still haven't signed?
Yeah.
That's an issue, and that says something about the structure of the sport.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the NBA, I think what they have created with their own salary cap is a massive issue, where you have teams who are over the second apron and can't make a single trade because it has to be a $1 for dollar deal. I think that's created problems. I think football might be onto something, just in the sense of it is not the sport. Out of all the major sports, when you think about it, it's not just the rich teams are the ones that win. There's not as big of a correlation between the team that spends the most money and the team that wins.
Right.
You can look around and there's teams that spend a lot of money that are just dysfunctional at the bottom, and teams that have a good rookie quarterback are at the top because they're not paying $50 million to a quarterback. I think that adds a little more flavor to it, where it's not just, well, you're the Dodgers, so you're going to win because you spend a ton of money. I think it adds a little diversity to it in that sense, where there is more chance for teams to hit on a quarterback and suddenly you're in business and you don't need to spend, X amount of dollars over the cap to find success.
Are you going anywhere, or are you all right with making your career here, Sean?
It's wow, that's a big one. Let me think. This is like the 50-year plan.
Yeah.
Today's the last day of Sean.
Yeah, it's a good time to announce that I'm no. Look, when you look at sports markets in America, there aren't that many better than Dallas. And you look at
There really aren't.
There really aren't.
And you hail originally from one of those that might be better than Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, if there are, it's a short list. And I work for a good newspaper that is still, we still travel every game. We're going to be in spring training, me and Evan, for 6 weeks or whatever it is, and we're going to be at all 162 of those games. And
that's commitment, man.
And not every outlet is still doing that anymore.
I know.
Not everyone's still traveling. And when you look at where you want to spend at least the immediate future, it's at a place that's going to commit resources to producing good work.
Yeah. And that's the thing about the Dallas Morning News. Once they got serious about sports back in the day, they got really serious about it.
Yeah.
And that commitment has made its way from then, and we're probably talking about, the 80s, I guess, the 70s or 80s, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
From then up until now.
Yeah.
And it has not wavered.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we're lucky. We're damn lucky to live in a sports market like this that's covered the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, just today, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette is announced it's closing.
Yeah, I think shuttering in May.
Yeah.
Wow.
The oldest newspaper in Pittsburgh, the only newspaper in Pittsburgh, is closing. And that's another major sports city. It's not a Dallas or a Boston or a Philly, but they got 3 pro teams. That's a major city.
They do.
And now they won't have a newspaper.
They got 3 pro teams and the best major league ballpark.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So you look around and it's like, I'm thankful to be in a place that, will fund good work and will put people in a position to do good work. I like being somewhere where it's 75 and sunny in early January. That helps too. I came back from Boston where we had a foot of snow and it was 8 degrees out. So,
we might have that next week.
Yeah. So coming back here is a reminder. It's like, okay, there's worse places to be if it's going to be decent weather, good sports, and a good environment to do good coverage.
And that is something you'll notice the longer you are in Dallas, the more you notice just how people come here and they don't leave.
Yeah.
Like they very rarely take jobs in other markets once they start working in the sports industry here.
Yeah. It's funny because when I first moved here, I told, maybe I'll stay a year or two and then you see where it goes. And then I've had people say, do you still see yourselves being there forever? And I say, I don't know, but it's like, I've been here 4.5 years now and I'm not in a rush to leave, and that's I think the funny thing. It's a lot about the city. I like living in Dallas. It's got everything you need here. But to your point, like it's hard to say, there's better places to live that, fit what I want to do.
Yeah. You sound like a guy who's caught in the web.
Yeah.
Caught in the web of our fair burg.
Yeah.
Keep him, Dallas Morning News.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right. Keep him. He's good.
Yeah.
You need him.
He's endorsed by Mike Rhyner.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'll put that on the resume.
Damn sure better.
That'll damn you.
Put it on your Twitter.
Yeah.
Do you like the Beach Boys?
Yeah. I've gotten really into collecting records this year. So I'm up to about 300 records now, including several Beach Boys records. So
The hell brought that on?
yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not mad at it.
It's the last thing I have written down here.
It's a great question.
So I thought I'd fire it off, see what happens.
It's a good question.
I love it. I'm not mad at it.
You walked into a good one.
Have you ever met Tom Hamilton of Aerosmith?
No.
Okay.
There we go. See?
Well, Shawn McFarland. What?
Gonna
Nobody
let that
what?
slide.
What's that, Ash?
He said he has 300 records that he just started collecting.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah.
Yeah. 300
All right, well,
records?
let's rummage through a few of those
Yeah.
before we
Okay.
go here.
Yeah.
I was like, wait.
I totally missed that. I was too enthralled by Mike's
Beach Boys
question. Yeah.
So what do you got in that 300?
A little bit of
collection?
everything. A lot of classic rock, a lot of rap and hip hop. Trying to diversify with a little more jazz and R&B too. I want to have a complete collection. A lot of Bob Dylan, a lot of Beatles, a lot of Steely Dan. That's kind of the direction I'm going
Okay.
in
All
now.
right. All right.
But it's been fun. It's kind of been my chance to listen to a lot of artists that I've known of my whole life, but never really dove into.
Who has surprised you?
This is going to sound really dumb, maybe, but the Beatles, which is obvious. We all know they're the Beatles, right? It's one of the bands, even growing up now, you know your entire life, but I never really listened to them outside of just what you'd hear. And I got a few of their records and I played them and I was like, oh, wow, yeah, I get it. Like, that makes sense. This makes sense why they are considered one of the most accomplished bands of all time.
You know, it's really weird for a guy like me to hear that. And I don't mean that in a bad way. But you're talking about the Beatles like, you know, they're one of many musical acts, which, you know, really they are.
Yeah.
But to me, the Beatles are where it started and really pretty much stops. And it is heresy for somebody of my time to speak badly about the Beatles. And I would have a hard time going out tonight and talking to, you know, friends and getting them to say something bad about the Beatles.
Yeah.
Even if I tried to bait them into it or tee them up for it, you know. I mean, we just won't do it, you know? And honestly, there are a lot of Beatles songs that I'm kind of heard enough, you know, that if I can get out of this mortal coil without ever hearing Twist and Shout again, I'm okay with that, you know?
Yeah.
I heard it enough, but still, there's a part of me that feels like it's heresy to say that because it's the Beatles, man.
You still recognize the greatness.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still recognize the greatness, but, you know, time has a way of treating things funny.
By the way, he did miss a chance to see the Beatles. Because he went to a high school football game instead.
That's very Texas.
That's very Texas.
That's very Texas.
Yeah, Kimball Hillcrest. It was Hillcrest 14, Kimball 7.
He was rooting for Kimball,
Okay.
Yeah.
but you wound up going there.
Yeah. I was in junior high then, and I thought going to a high school football game would be a wonderful opportunity for a complete, total 100% dork of the highest order to meet a chick. That did not work out for me.
This story is great every time.
I know. I always feel a little bad roping him into telling it, but if it's teed up like that, you got to tell it.
Yeah. It's right there.
That's one of the reasons why you're the devil.
Thank you.
Sean, thanks, man.
This is great. Thank
Keep
you
up
so
the
much.
good work at the morning news, man. I really do think you're a real talent. I enjoy reading your work, and I appreciate you coming in here and doing this.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me. This is fantastic.
We'll have you back if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Shawn McFarland of the Dallas Morning News there. Now, if you like what we're doing here, what you need to do is help us get out there. You do that by sharing us. Put us up on your social media, share us, like us, get us out there. You will be appreciated for that. You will be rewarded for your kindness somewhere along the line. I don't know where, but somewhere along the line,
Probably not by
will.
you.
Thanks. No, definitely not by me. Thank you, Shoopy. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Becca. This has been your Dark Companion. Bye.
I'm gonna go take my pants off.
Your Dark Companion is a Stolen Water Media presentation.